We have a shit ton of content before this thing pops in, before the recording pops.
Right.
The post credits bit is going to be lengthy.
No, I mean, you didn't start the recording until 10:27, so.
No recording. 7 minutes post.
I mean, I was like 10 minutes late, so.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, it's all good. You won't have that much extra stuff to clip off.
Now recording.
There it goes. Notification on the YouTube.
Just got the Twitch one.
Got the Twitch one as well. Well done, sir.
You won't have that
Brant.
much extra stuff.
I'm in there.
Fuck is it?
There it goes. Notification on the.
We're all good. Everybody's past the sound
check. Yay.
We need our Rican check-in.
There he is. I thought he was going to make it. He's walking around the neighborhood. Yeah, I got to give him a ride to the gym later.
Right to the gym. Morning, Renee. The morning recording. Now recording.
Yeah, just a short story about Renee. I woke up this morning and I was going to go to the gym, and knowing him, he comes along with me. But that joker was out walking the neighborhood. I'm like, I'm not looking for him in the neighborhood. And I had a short window. I was like, if I see him, he can jump in. If I don't, I have to just take him later. And I didn't see him. I drove around a little bit. It's like, no, I don't have time for this.
Renee needs Life 360. You need to be able to follow.
Yeah, if only he was in the house in the morning, I was all right. I was very short window.
Renee's like, I didn't come in the show to catch stray bullets.
They're not strays. I'm shooting right at them.
Sniper shots.
It's a headshot.
Is the title right on everything? Yeah. Episode 350. I don't know. That panel's like bugging out. It still says like update all titles, but I think I did it manually, so we're good.
I mean, it looks good on the streams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 350 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and Memorial Day appreciation podcast. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
It's early on Monday, and our respective employers have provided us an off day. I've worked at employers where I had to work Memorial Day, so very pleased.
But at least it was time and a half in those days. So
it was not for me.
Whoa!
And
where were you working?
I was almost out of time. Yeah, how did time and a half work? That's pretty cool. I mean, we're not gonna put the place of business out there, but just out of curiosity, that's never happened for me. I guess if we had to work, it would be time and a half, right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Holiday pay. Or they tell you to stay home tomorrow.
Comp time. What they call comp time?
Yeah, your 8 hours is tomorrow.
Yeah, I think technically now they changed it at
current employer.
The current employer, where it's just they used to do holiday pay. That used to be a thing, but yeah, I think it would just be standard overtime.
Renee said he thought he had till 11, so maybe you got to run him up there in 20 minutes, Cesar. Or is the boat, that ship already sailed?
I mean, I'll run him after this podcast, but I mean, I don't know what he got and said he thought he had till 11. I was up at 4:30, so normally he's up at 4.
Does a neighborhood walk not count as like exercise for the day? I would think that's pretty solid.
I don't know. He's cooking.
Walk my neighborhood. He's cooking. He's doing some weightlifting and such. All right, let's get into this thing. What's that?
I give myself 1 hour a day, and now that's it. That's all I need.
Yeah. 1 hour a day. It's 1 hour more than I'm currently doing. Spread out over years of sedentary lifestyle. All right, let's get into this news. So everybody can go to their respective Memorial Day gatherings and get-togethers. This week's news: more than 50 classic Activision games now on Xbox! ! Says Brant, the newsmaster. Sony discontinuing PlayStation Stars.
They're seeing stars. Let's
go.
go.
Cesar to do the stars, the Nemesis thing. Stars.
Stars.
Why does DK look so different? Question mark. I don't know either. Find out later in this show. More Game Boy games on Nintendo Switch Online. We have your May Game Pass Wave 2 titles, which I'm very excited about one of those. And last but not least, are we, quote, real fans, end quote, question mark. Is that different from OnlyFans? Find out later in this show. Also, subscribe to our Real Fans.
We'll find out later too, because I have no idea what this is about. So I'm interested.
Brant brought this up.
I hadn't heard it either.
This is a good news bit. Yeah, it's from one of our favorite video game luminaries, industry legends. One could say. A magician, Cesar. Would that ring a bell? Maybe.
Oh no! Maybe, yeah.
The magician has a quote out there. We're gonna discuss.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah, I believe it from him. He's about to get regulated to the minor leagues if he's not careful.
Oh God. On this Memorial Day, I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined today by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up,
Brant? Welcome. Great job on the news as always.
Thank you, sir.
350. Is this a milestone? Have we hit like a specific milestone episode? 350.
This was the one that the Loch Ness Monster was asking for.
Loch Ness Monster.
Oh gosh,
the reference is lost on me. Nope, the reference is lost on me. Explain it, Brant.
It's a South Park reference.
Oh.
I
like the 350 thing. That's
it's an old standard South Park reference.
There was a phase when I went through and watched a lot of South Park, but that was like the late '90s, and then after that, I kind of fell off.
That would have been in that little
area.
Yeah. It was like Chef's. I think it was Chef's parents, and his dad always had a story about like running into the Loch Ness Monster, and the Loch Ness Monster was always asking him for $3.50.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
What? Like money?
Yes. And he'd talk about like he'd run into this person and he'd start talking to him, and then all of a sudden he realized they were the Loch Ness Monster, and then he's asking, "Hey, let me get about $3.50."
Did we ever see it on the show? Did you ever see the Loch Ness Monster?
I think so. It's been a long time.
The reference popped in your head when you heard
$3.50.
$3.50.
$3.50. Let me get about $3.50.
Also here, our resident lore master and soundboard expert aficionado. Play one off, Cesar, for the non-audio recorded bit. Yep, Renee will probably appreciate that. Did you play a lot of Killer Instinct with Renee? Friend of the show, Renee?
Occasionally. It was mostly with my brother, probably. I think we went on Game FAQs a lot and got printed out all the combo stardoms,
figured out how to do
or
it,
whatever we call them. Yeah, like all of the ultras and kings and ultimate combos, and got pretty good at it. It's like muscle memory. So if I jump on the NSO, sometimes it takes me a minute, but I can still pull them off. Yeah. Jago's the easiest one to do. So
Jago's your Killer Instinct main?
No, it's just the easiest one to do. I don't know if he's my main, but
so like a Ken or Ryu, like a starter.
Yeah,
basic attack.
He's easy to juggle people and just get them up in the air.
I'm waiting for Tekken 8 to drop in price a little bit. I want to mess around with some Tekken, but I've still got Tekken 7 I'm sitting on. I could mess around with that one. Or Tekken 1 through 6. A good one.
I mean, there is a sequential storyline that actually follows these games, so
I don't know if I'm that invested.
So if you were to play the story mode, it would make sense to play 7 before 8. I don't know if you want to go back and play 1 through 6, but
we played a lot of 2. 2 was like my cousin that had the PlayStation, where we were like, what the hell is this thing? We played a lot of Tekken 2 on that PlayStation. Much to aggravation of myself, friend of the show Mark's Knight, and friend of the show Chill Mills as a youngster. We had a good time with it though. It's the era of fighting games where somebody gets really good at a character and they're just whooping your ass and it's not even fun anymore. Then you finally find somebody that you could whoop their ass with, and then they're not having fun anymore. We're all like, fuck this game.
It's either that or you're both just like button mashing and having a good time.
Oh yeah. It was like, stop juggling me, let me down so I can fight. It's like, try to find a way to counter this. And we're going back and forth at each other. We would just
There's
end
that
up
one
playing
son of a
Cypher
bitch
Filter.
that always gets you Yoshimitsu
Yep.
hopping across the stage and shit.
Somebody was good
Like
with
that,
King. Somebody was really good with
Yeah.
King. I think it was
King? Yeah.
I think it was Mark's night, and he would piss me off with King. Like, pick somebody else.
It's funny.
Beat me with this one.
Because I think he's coming back, right?
King is.
So,
Was he out of the
He's the-
story or
he's
whatever?
the first DLC coming out in July, I think.
Okay.
The Armored King.
Interesting.
They just made the announcement. He's the first one out the gate. So he's the dude with the cheetah head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
When
he's
did
back.
Kumo get introduced?
I don't know
think it
Tekken
was
lore
till
like that.
later.
Kuma, the bear?
Kuma. Yeah.
Big bear.
I don't know if the bear is. Well, I mean, Kuma is Japanese for bear, so they didn't play much with the naming of that character.
How good are the I have every Tekken game except the newest one. How good are the PS2 ones? I remember selling a shit ton of Tekken 5
They're really
when
good.
it came out.
Yeah, Tekken 5 is really good.
And 4 is solid on that one's on PS2 also, right? Our last Virtual Fighter was on PS3. Was that
I
our
don't
last
think-
Virtual Fighter PS3?
I
No,
don't
they
think
just
there's ever
they
been
just-
a bad Tekken, man.
No. And people like the
uh,
Tekken Tag tournaments too.
Yeah.
Brant, you were talking about the digital release of the new one?
Yeah, they
Which
just re-released that. What was it,
Revo?
like a remaster? Yeah, like a remaster of that other one.
Need to
And
get
we're
that.
supposed to be getting a new one in the future. Is what they were hinting at.
I think they're playing it right because they're trying to introduce these and get them like in the fighting game circuit, right? Like they got to be adopted at
Yeah.
Evo and stuff, and then it takes off from there. I mean, that's a shoe-in for the new Switch too, right? At some point.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
How are we looking for
B-Rant.
Namco support from them?
B-Rant, yeah. Kuma 2, he's in Tekken 8.
There's a
Yeah, I
son
was
of
gonna say, I know he's
the son
in
of Kuma?
the new one.
He's the son of Kuma,
He's
Who
the
died of-
son, yeah.
died of old age, apparently.
the bear.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if he showed up in 2 or 3 though, the original.
I think Kuma died in 2, so I think
Almost
he showed up
Heihachi's
afterward.
pet.
Yeah.
It's crazy
what-
lore, man.
Well, what's funny is his rival was Paul Phoenix, which is a fucking human with a mohawk.
This is
So-
crazy. I gotta play some Tekken. I'm excited. All right, he's in every Tekken after. Oh, this is Kuma too. You're right, Cesar. So they just handed off the
Yeah.
lore to another character.
I mean, Kuma 2 actually wears clothes, so that's how you can tell it's Kuma 2.
Oh, probably because they were able to render the clothes after that, right? So they just built that
Yeah.
into the story. Oh yeah, look at this. It's just a naked bear in the first two. Passed
Naked
away from
bear.
old age at some point after the second King of Iron Fist tournament. There is some serious lore with this shit. You weren't kidding. You're the lore
Is it-
master.
It's a bit what wasn't the Kojima? Like it's a bit like that, right? Like here we are doing interesting things with stories.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
there's
like,
a reason people are invested in the tech and stuff.
I don't want to digress too far.
However, we're about to digress far. He's only 8.
If I remember the name
Oh,
of
I'm
it.
sorry. He was 8 in Tekken 3. He's 11 in Tekken 8. He's only aged 3 years in like the 20 years since Tekken 3 came out. Kuma 2, that is.
What's funny was I was watching a video yesterday on the Deep Fear, which is Sega's answer to Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out the name. Like the name of the main area was called. It's set on the research facility in the Pacific Ocean called the underwater. And the name of the research facility is called the Big Table.
The big table.
The Big Table. And
I
I'm
mean,
like, I would play the.
we
fuck-
laughed at the big shell, right? Big shell.
Yeah. I was like, I will play the fuck out of this game because I was watching it and I didn't watch the full hour because it was an hour of the guy just going over it. And I was like, we didn't get it in America because it's when they already killed off the Saturn. It came out in the UK and Europe. I was like, I would play the fuck out of it.
In my Madness days, Cesar, I have burned copies of. I think it's 2 discs, but I have burned copies of that. If you want to upload it to your Polymega or something, unless you have alternate means or you have a way that you want to play it.
I might partake you on that depending
Mhm.
on there because I thought about streaming it. It looks pretty good. So the only difference they said is like a Resident Evil clone. Except I thought was funny was that you have these little health kits that are scattered about throughout the levels, and you can pull unlimited health potions out of there. So like you can get a max of 8, and then the guy's just sitting there just pulling health potions out the fuck out of the thing. It's like apparently it's like it helps with the sting of the game a lot because it said the game is like I think the guy described it 60% cutscenes and dialogue, 10% battling undersea monsters, and then 30% backtracking.
Is this a Kojima game?
I mean,
you just described Metal Gear Solid.
So it was pretty interesting because I think it's like the producer. It's like it was developed by a outside team. It wasn't even anything to do with Sega, but Sega had a lot of faith in the project, so they put some of their producers into the game. So Ryoko, I think the one who created Phantasy Star, she produced it. The guy who wrote it also wrote the PS2 horror game Extermination, which almost is copy carbon of Deep Fear.
Okay.
And then the music was done by an anime legend who did Ghost in the Shell, the original Ghost in the Shell anime, and Pat Labor, and a lot of anime stuff from the 90s. So
we should have gotten this re-released on something by now, or is this one of those stuck on Saturn bullshit things?
It's never been out of Saturn. Yeah. It looks when I saw it playing on there, it looked good because I was like,
yeah.
Apparently, when they were showing a little bit of the story, and the guy didn't go too deep into it, so apparently he's fighting a code, and so like he'll like randomly just do the cheesy beeline coughing like, and then sometimes if you let him do with the still animation, he'll just sneeze, and it's like, yeah, that code thing comes to play later on, which is pretty cool, but just the fact that he just stands there and just sneezes randomly, kind of like Metal Gear, where it's just way too long.
Yeah,
he goes, like you can tell he's fighting something. So
I love touches like that. I feel like they don't do a lot of stuff like that anymore.
But they said Deep Fear. The guy was saying it was more of akin of The Thing and The Abyss as a combination of those two things versus what Resident Evil was like, Night of the Living Dead type thing. So
or Michael Crichton's Sphere, where those people went down in that thing in the bottom of the ocean, then all hell broke loose. Nothing like some good isolation terror. Yeah, I popped that in. So I played that on original hardware with the. I mean, Pseudo Saturn is a known thing, right? Like we've talked about that on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's that's a power
still
release.
OG hardware.
What's that?
It's still OG hardware.
Yeah,
you can call it Pseudo Saturn. But
it is, and Sega's not coming after our show for me talking about the Pseudo Saturn. I mean, we usually just refer to sailing the high seas and that sort of nonsense. But I think I had to have that to do the PAL scaling because that's one of those 50 hertz PAL type games. So the Polymega handles that stuff just fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it auto reses up to 1080p or some shit like that.
I'm surprised you and I didn't play that because remember we played that co-op. I would say Contra like or Metal Slug like with that game.
That weird thing with the spiders and shit.
Oh yeah, then it was like samurai and stuff. That game was amazing. Yeah. The game was so fucking good.
If I had money, had disposable money like that, I still wouldn't buy it. It was super expensive. So
yeah, it's fucking expensive. And my burn disc played flawlessly on there.
Hey man, re-release it. I'll buy it again.
Yeah, they should. That game was awesome. The name is escaping me. There was no direct English translation, but I have that disc too. I mean, I got a bunch of Saturn stuff I ripped when I went through the Mad Saturn phase. I may have a complete Saturn ISO collection, as a matter of fact. So we can come back to that later. Man, we really derailed. How did we get off of there? That was a hell of a tangent.
It went to Tekken and
it started with Tekken. Yeah. Cesar, please stream that, man. I watch the fuck out of that. And nobody's streaming that game.
What, Deep Fear?
Yeah. Maybe somebody in Europe. All right, let's get into this news. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGCVideoGamesChronicle.com. Xbox and Antstream Arcade. What's that?
It's River Raid forever.
Oh, yeah. God, yes, River Raid. Xbox and Antstream. Is that the news? I don't even have to go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they partnered with Antstream.
You spoke this into existence with your River Raid.
Yeah, you were wishing this for like years. Like, oh god, they put River Raid on there. I'll play the shit out of it.
God, I love fucking River Raid. It's in the Atari right now. The Atari is plugged in, and there's a copy of River Raid forever in that 2600.
Yeah, it's like literally a couple weeks ago, and you're just like, just give me River Raid.
I would love a new one, man. Like crazy, just. Oh, we've talked about this, like how I thought video games were gonna go, and Symphony of the Night's like the closest one, like with CD audio and beautiful 3D rendered scaling and stuff like that, but you still had like a 2D game at heart. Maybe Mischief Makers is kind of in the same vein. Or some of those PlayStation.
Don't get me started about Mischief Makers, man.
Mischief Makers is good. Some of those PlayStation Mega Man games that were like super crazy. Really took advantage of that 32-bit hardware, right? But man, imagine like a River Raid with that stuff. Anyway, I digress. Ant, what was it called? I never heard of this group before. Have you guys?
Yeah,
Ant Stream Arcade.
They've done. They came out and they made a deal with Xbox, so it's all streamed in the back end, and they originally have like their own classic service, which I think if you're a Game Pass member, you can get into it's like $40 a year. So I think it's discounted for $10 a year, and it has like stuff like Richard's least favorite game of all time, Double Dragon, and other PlayStation games and stuff like that. There's PS1 games on that service that are from like licensed from like not well-known companies that maybe like fell through the cracks as they diverse. So it's not like it's stuff with stuff that hasn't been licensed from a major company or something like that. So like it's kind of like this setup. So they have PlayStation 1, Super Nintendo, NES, blah blah blah. It's like a whole bunch of stuff from different generations, but it's like not the highly known games. They partner up with other companies and put some known stuff on there. So
there's a lot of Activision stuff in here, like you were talking about Pitfall and River Raid, of course.
So this is I haven't read this article, but essentially Xbox went to Antstream and integrated their Activision games to this service, Activision Blizzard, excuse me. So there's even like Amiga, there's DOS, there's PC based. So it's just like it's streamed kind of like a Gaikai from PS Now.
Yeah.
So it's not like when you download this, it's just a GUI that allows you to get those games and stream them accessibly to the device you're using.
Okay.
And so this is just something that they teamed up with them to do Xbox classics from the Activision acquisition. And so I think later on they're going to add 50 more games. There's 50 available now, and they plan to add 50 more to this service. So it's going to be mostly. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see like Lost Vikings for Super Nintendo pop up on here. It's going to be stuff like that, stuff that belongs in those catalogs. But I think they've partnered with Antstream's technology to do this. Now, Antstream has their own separate service that's available on Xbox. It's not available on Xbox and PC. That's the only place it's available at that you can register. I think there's a lifetime service fee. You can pay $100 one-time fee, or it's $40 a year. So, but you don't actually own those games. This is a service for you to stream those directly to devices compatible with.
I mean, this is pretty cool. Like, this is the one of the things we're talking about doing with games and game preservation, right? Somebody else is doing the work, and the big publisher is partnering with them to bring that catalog forward.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
No, I mean,
Microsoft says there's achievements.
Oh,
yep.
Are they Xbox achievements, or are they just within that environment, the retro classics?
So, it says there's also Xbox achievements and the ability to save players' progress for later, new challenge modes, high score rankings, leaderboards.
So, have y'all played any of this?
No, you sent us that screenshot, and we all noted that River Raid was the number one played game on there, which I was very excited about.
So, I played a good bit on this. All right, so you could do play now and choose any one of these games on here. I think they will do challenges, and challenges that'll give you like little medals or icons or whatever, like on the top right, and you use those to buy like avatars. And so the achievements are all tied to nothing in the games themselves, outside of maybe like, play a 2-player game with somebody, or unlock all these icons for this. That's all it is. It's nothing that's actually tied to per se video game. It's all based in that GUI right there. Or get those collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think this week's challenge was, I forgot what it was, but I played a good bit of it because it's like what it does is that I don't remember the name of the game. I'm not gonna sit here and try to recall it, but what it does is that it puts you against the community, and it's like, all right, you got to do a 1 life run, no die, no get hit, and whoever gets the highest score wins this week. And it's
that's
like
cool.
It puts you in a competition against other people, and that's
I like that.
When you reach the challenges, you basically unlock more emblems and stuff like that. So that's what the challenges are. So it's like they'll have tournaments for that, and there's challenges. You can create your own challenge, your own tournament, and you can send it to your friends and and play that way. So it's a good bit of stuff in there. So
shit, let's give that a go. That sounds awesome. Friend of the show, Derek, one of his favorite games of all time is Pitfall 2. And I have never played it, but it's apparently like a super early Metroidvania type action adventure. Plays differently than Pitfall 1. It's a lot more complex, and it's a Metroidvania type.
It follows the Nintendo's 2s.
Yes. It does. It's totally
Completely different.
It's totally different than the first one.
This is not what I was getting myself into.
I think that core gameplay is still the same, but it's wildly, it's not left to right. It introduced a more vertical element, and I think it's like similar to the first Metroid, honestly. The way he described it, you got to get keys for certain areas, and yeah, this is a very cool program. I like the idea of the challenges and all that. It's awesome.
I sat there maybe a good bit when it came out that night, and I put a couple of hours into it just doing the challenges and played some games that I've probably haven't played in 20, 25 years.
Yeah. And maybe for some of our younger, here's the precursor to Echo. There's Dolphin. It's just called Dolphin.
It's a Hero. Hero's the one they're having a current tournament.
Hero. So what do you?
Yeah,
that's the one run challenge thing.
It's called One Shot Rescue Run.
Shit, maybe we try this. That would be cool, and then we can report back on how we did.
You can tell Derek the game of the week is Pitfall 2: Lost Caverns. That's the game of the week.
I will mention this. That's cool. For some of our younger listeners, this is probably the best of the Atari, the Activision games. They were the first third-party publisher. They split off. It was a bunch of old. They were tired of not getting credit for their games, right? So a big thing with these Activision games is that they would have their name in there, or it would be credited in the booklet or on the cartridge somewhere. Like Carol Shaw designed River Raid, and she got credit for designing River Raid versus just being a designer and throwing your artwork out there for Atari, and they just publish it as Battle or whatever. So, but these really push the 2600, and they're all pretty solid. Activision didn't have many lemons outside of ET. Wasn't Activision, was it? That was an Atari first party.
Yeah,
Scott Warshaw.
What's crazy is, like, I mean, this is a very big list at the bottom here, and I'm noticing, like you said, most of these are Atari 2600. There's a good handful of PC DOS games, and then there's a couple of Amiga games sprinkled in here, and one Sega CD game.
Sega CD, The Adventures of Willie Beamish, which I've never even heard of. Mech Warrior 2 for PlayStation? I wonder how that runs in there.
That runs pretty fucking good. That was the first one I fired up.
Really? Was it?
Yeah.
So they're running from Atari 2600 on. PC DOS, PlayStation. All right, they got a PlayStation emulator running on the Xbox officially. I think those first couple Mech Warrior games are pretty solid. Was that a Microsoft joint?
Mech Warrior,
that was Activision.
The first Mech Warrior is SNES.
See that in there. Kaboom is very good from 2600. Enduro is a racing game. That one's a lot of fun. Of course, the ones we mentioned, the Pitfalls and the River Raids. I don't know about tennis. I don't know how tennis is on Atari 2600. 24 tennis games in 24 hours. Let's go. This is one of them.
Yep, it does say tennis on there.
It does say tennis. Next in news, Sony confirms it is ending its PlayStation Stars loyalty program. Starting today, PlayStation Stars will no longer accept new members, and the program will fully end on November 2nd, 2026. PlayStation Stars allows you to redeem points for digital collectibles points and level up your status. That will all be ending on July 23rd of this year.
I hope they do something in the future, because I got so many $10 off stuff using that program. That's all I really cared about. I didn't care about the collectibles. So
I don't know that I ever earned anything on there.
You earn stuff every time you buy anything on there. So
you earn coins for that, and then you could trade those coins in for, technically, like he said, $5, $10, $15 off
games or
certain
whatever
things. Or if you had enough, there were certain games that you could just trade straight for the points to get the full game, or for some of those valuable not NFT collectibles that they had.
I mean, I did like those little things, but it wasn't something I was ever chasing. Like, if they gave me a PS3, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. That's rendered nicely."
Or the one that was controversial was that if you get to level 4, you have priority on customer support, which was fucking wild. So
I made it up to level 3.
I have been level 4 the whole program. So
I think I'm on 2, maybe.
you got to get like 128 rare trophies. I was like, what the fuck? I just play games normally and I just get there every time. So. I was like,
you ended up grinding it out somehow.
I just play. I was like, I'm not fucking looking for a game. It's like, all right, this has the most rare trophies. Time to buckle down. And like, man, if I get it, I get it. I don't. It told me yesterday, like, congratulations, you made level 4. I was like, sure. You're gonna die anyways in a couple months. So.
Yep.
There's some quotes about them reviewing the data behind the program and it not being what they were after, and they're gonna find something else and that sort of thing. Do you think, because what do they call it, days of play or something, the summertime thing, that's coming up pretty soon? Do you think they'll
about a week or so?
Yeah, so maybe we get some discounts on PlayStation Plus, and there's a rumor that the hardware will get a temporary discount. I don't see how when everything else is going up.
I saw that rumor. It might be time for a friend of the show, Buish, if he's going to acquire the competition to be now before it goes up. But
yeah, be a good way.
Keep trying to pressure him. He's not bending.
I think he's more likely to jump on the Switch 2 than the PS5. I mean, playing a lot of Warzone, so he's got a Warzone box already.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm also trying to steer him towards a handheld PC market as well. We're trying to spend Buish's money.
I mean, he's probably better off doing a handheld PC anyway. So, but
at the moment, he could probably sell his. Does he have a Series console?
Yeah, he has an X.
He could honestly sell his Series console and probably buy 2 of the competitors.
It's true.
They're
holding value
increase.
Mm-hmm. I was laughing because somebody had said when they raised the prices of the Series X on social media, they're like, the value of my Series X went up, and they did a question mark. And they're like, what?
I have 2 S's. I have one that's never been unboxed, but I haven't even cut this other one on in so long. But I know it's worth more than I paid for it. They're increasing in value. I'm that same person. They're increasing somehow. Wild times. We'll see where that goes. But these companies always have these programs that come and go, right? Did we?
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's getting rid of their Gold Star one, Go Coins, so which made me sad because I used that to save off games also. And I noticed when I bought a couple games the other day, I said, damn, I don't have any Go Coins because it never doesn't ask me anymore. Would you like to use your Go Coins to drop this down? It's like it's not even there for me anymore. It's like, oh man, that's a sad moment for me.
I actually did like that, and almost like you with the Stars program, it was just incidental, right? Like, oh yeah, I forgot I bought something. Now I get 40 cents off this next game. Like every little bit, it's like, sure, that's fine. And then you got gold points for getting that one. So they'll roll out something else. Next up, I actually don't know this story. I'm very excited to hear this. Shigeru Miyamoto finally explains why Nintendo redesigned Donkey Kong. Super Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto has explained why Nintendo decided to redesign the iconic Donkey Kong character, stating that the aim was to make him more expressive. The first hints, this comes from VGC and Andy Robinson. The first hints that Nintendo was looking to retool Donkey Kong came with the Super Mario Bros. Movie back in 2023. A more striking redesign was then spotted in the debut footage of Mario Kart World earlier this year, and since then, Nintendo has replaced a plethora of marketing items with the new DK look. We'll skip to the quote from Miyamoto speaking to IGN. Quote, when it comes to character creation and working with characters, I still take an active role in that, he explained. And looking back to the first generation Donkey Kong Country, we worked with Rare to create Donkey Kong Country. When we were talking about trying to create new versions evolving Donkey Kong, we created the game called Jungle Beat. We worked together with the team that made 3D Mario. With the technology that was available at the time, we were able to make Donkey Kong more expressive. What does it have to do with Jungle Beat? That was like 20 years ago.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. You saw that video with Gersman and Dan, right? Where they were talking about changing to Donkey Kong. They said, they got away from Emo Kong.
Emu Kong.
The Rare created back in the early 90s.
Because he was like always sad and angry.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the friend of the show, Mark's Knight, has his panties in a wad with this DK redesign too. I'm not sure why, but he's a lot. I don't know. He has a lot vested in this.
He's dying on his hill. Holy shit!
I don't know.
He's like, oh, fuck this.
He's upset about like the DK Bonanza. He's like, I don't like the way Donkey Kong looks. I'm like, I don't know. This is what's on the side of the arcade cabinet and always has been.
Yep.
Like they went back to how he normally looked.
Yeah, the person at the local gaming store where I pre-ordered. I made sure everything was paid off the other day, and this employee started talking to me about, yeah, I'm gonna be tearing up some Mario Kart and this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to Donkey Kong. And they went, I just don't like the redesign. I'm like,
jeez, so
I don't get it,
crazy.
because just like you look at the old promotional material from like, especially from the SNES or the old arcade cabinet.
Yeah,
It looks more true to form of the original designs.
Yeah.
Like, did everybody balk this hard with the N64 redesign, or like, I don't know.
I mean, I could see they do this with certain franchises, right? Where art styles kind of branch off. Like we had Adult Link and Toon Link kind of coexisting at the same time, and that was one of their. Well, Donkey Kong's a tentpole franchise, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see like the Donkey Kong Country look sticking with that series and going that direction. And then when you see Donkey Kong anywhere else, you're going to see the redesign, right? He's in Mario Kart World. He's in DK Bonanza. I think that'll be the split, honestly. Here's the Rare designer. Kevin Bayless, a former Rare artist who was responsible for redesigning DK in the 90s, gave his approval when the new design was revealed in April. Why did they ask him? Quote, I don't understand why there's any debate to be had. Bayless wrote, it's still DK, only better looking. People need to embrace change more. All good things get better with age. I would say that, though, since I've been doing this for almost 40 years now. Everyone give a big, warm welcome for the new DK. All right, there's your official answer. And that's still
Basically
him.
You said what you said. Why are they asking me this shit? I'm like, I don't care.
So find somebody who's not in this garbage news cycle like we are stuck in, right? Show like kids or some older folks, like, who is this character? They're going to tell you that's Donkey Kong. It's not like it's some wild spin or hot take on this character that's just totally different, but people do feel strongly about it. It's not something that's a non-entity. I wonder if it'll affect sales. Like, why didn't you buy this game? I don't know. It didn't look like Donkey Kong. What does that matter? He's never like bashed up gyms and stuff before either, but here we are. This Donkey Kong is not my Donkey Kong.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, if that game reviews well, then everybody's gonna be like, oh.
So I'm not pre-ordering. I don't think yet. Supposedly Costco's going to have this for like $8 or $9 off MSRP when it comes out. So we're in there every week. If I happen to go to Costco and I see it, then I may partake.
Buy every copy they have.
Buy every copy, every single one. Yeah. Distribute to my friends. No, but y'all hit me up if it gets to be around that time, and we can confirm that DK is on sale at the Costco's, because it does look good. I want to try this out, and it's gonna be it's gonna be one of those like hits. I think.
I did recently watch a video of a certain content creator that went and was able to do the preview events, and they loved Mario Kart and they loved some of the other games on the floor, and they weren't crazy about Donkey Kong. Because to them, they said it seemed to be more kind of like catered to kids and things like that. But I don't know. To me, it looks like it's just got a lot of personality. So
it oozes that Nintendo charm, right? And we also know like what they've showed us of it is a very calculated look at that. We know there's way more depth and polish and all that sort of stuff. So I'm super curious about this one. And it's the first big. I mean, Mario Kart is the killer app, right? Everybody's going to be jamming on Mario Kart. Did y'all see there's like 600 music tracks or something in there? I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. That's an easy highlight.
We just have to wait till you get back in town before we jam on it, right, Richard?
Yeah. No, you guys can go at it.
No, you made us promise.
I definitely. Well, the open road thing, right? Like where we're just doing like the open mode. I would definitely like to do that with you guys.
You realize that's just the game.
Yeah, no, that's the game.
The game.
Okay. What they showed. Let me rephrase it. Like, what they showed of just the. What's that?
When are you gonna be back in town?
Should be able to play very soon after launch. I'm not sure. Don't wait for me though. It'll be okay. I'll live.
I got you. Yeah.
Because that's the game. You're because either way, it's the exact same game. You're just inviting the people in.
Right, but they showed like you don't have to go to events and stuff. You just roam around and collect music and all that sort of stuff. Like that's what I want to do is just like chill and drive around. Not necessarily be in a Mario Kart race, but be in that world and just drive around with it. That's what I was getting at. The posse style. You're not playing a Red Dead mission per se. You're just around on a horse and
You just want to do a convoy. That's it.
Yep. Let's just cruise and chat and see what we get into and see what music tracks we can buy and that sort of thing. That's kind of my thought of it. But I think that would be a fun stream. But we don't have to do that. It's you guys. You're gonna get new hardware, new game. Jump in there when you want to. Not gonna hold you back.
We've got several other Switch games that we're gonna pop into our shiny new consoles and see how well those old games run.
Definitely starting Link's Awakening again. That's for sure. I want to see Mario Odyssey also. Those might be my first 2 played games outside of Mario Kart.
I gotta get.
I'm getting excited.
Breath of the Wild. I gotta get through Breath of the Wild so I can get to Tears of the Kingdom again. It's gonna be long. I gotta work through it. It's gonna suck.
All the games I'm really excited about, I gotta wait because I mean I am excited for Donkey Kong, but I really want to know when Metroid is coming out.
Oh, we gotta plow through those before this one comes out. I don't know how important that story is, but I would like to. I'm at the end of Metroid Prime. I just gotta beat that shit. I might stream where I'm at. 3. Yeah, I might stream where I'm at and get some help. Like see if somebody will backseat help drive me. Help me figure out where I was in this game.
They apparently re-upped those trademarks on Metroid Prime 2 and
3.
Or it was Metroid Prime Hunters and Metroid Prime 3.
Hunters, the DS one?
Oh god.
Something like that.
With the stylus.
Oh,
yeah, with the mouse controls.
So that's our Wii Wireless LAN that, didn't we? Didn't we get a bunch of people together when that demo came out? And we all tried like deathmatch and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's the rumor has been floating around that 2 and 3 were supposed to get this not quite the same level of remaster treatment that 1 did.
It's the right port, basically, yeah.
Somebody was saying that now it seems more likely that 3 will kind of get that treatment and 2 will most likely just get dropped into the new NSO GameCube program.
Are we okay with that? Is that just fine?
It's an option, but it's going to suck to have like physical version of remastered and then a physical version of 3 and then physical version of 4, and then 2, you just have to be.
I would also like a physical version of Wind Waker, but look where we're at. So,
but you do. You have one for GameCube and you have one for Wii U.
Yes. You make the same argument for Metroid Prime 2. I have one for GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have that trilogy pack. I have a sealed one.
I look forward to taking my GameCube by the handle and bringing it over to Richard's place so I can play it portably.
I have a GameCube for you here. You don't even have to bring it. You can pick it up and act like you're going out the door.
I'll bring it over to my Nissan dealership as I do oil changes. I'm like, oh, no. Richard said I had a portable copy of Metro Prime 2. Then I got to play it here.
Oh, I forgot about the GameCube games. We're going to have a blast playing GameCube stuff on there.
Yeah. Do some F-Zero.
This may be some of our content for a few Saturdays until people are like, stop playing Switch 2 shit. Like, we can just bounce between our different Switch things and talk.
The minute they throw Double Dash on there, I'm done. I'm done, man. It's over.
DK Mountain, man. We never beat DK Mountain.
We never did. So that's our night. We're trying to clear that game.
That was the last one, right? That was the last cup.
We couldn't beat it.
Mountain was,
we couldn't fucking beat it.
Oh, I love me some Double Dash, man.
Did you ever watch our Double Dash stream? That was before you joined, Brant. It's on YouTube. So it's on YouTube somewhere. It slowly climbs. Like I watch it I look at it every once in a while, and it's like 500 views, 620 views. Like it slowly climbs up on YouTube. It ain't burning up traffic, but people were watching that old Double Dash stream. Man, that stream was put together by
Retro Tink.
Wings and a Prayer. Yeah, it was Retro Tink to maybe to the Huawei, maybe to an older computer. Might have been that old MacBook Air I was using. Gen 1 MacBook Air. It didn't even have a Core 2 Duo processor. I think it was just the Core 2. It was a good stream, though. You could hear us and you could see us playing and everything.
That little portable mic you had. What was that? Samsung mic or something like that?
Yeah. Little portable mic. That whole setup is on YouTube. We could take a look at it. That's at the old place. Oh, Double Dash. Double Dash is an easy inclusion at some point, right?
Yeah.
God,
Speaking of Nintendo games, though.
Yeah, shoot. Go for it.
We've got some Game Boy games that just hit the Nintendo Online. They just added Kirby's Star Stackers, Survival Kids, Gradius the Interstellar Assault, and the Sword of Hope.
I've never played any of these.
Survival Kids is the precursor to Lost in Blue.
Okay.
So when Lost in Blue came out on the DS, I think that was the third game in the series. There was 2 Survival Kids. There was one they were both for the Game Boy Color. I think the second one may have not come out over here in America.
I gotta watch this trailer real quick.
Sword of Hope, I think, was one of those Kemco RPGs it wasn't too bad back in the day. Sword of Hope is probably a hidden gem in there. Survival Kids, all these are probably pretty hidden gems.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect to see Gradius and Interstellar show up.
So Survival Kids was translated for Europe. We just never got it.
No, it came out in America. They renamed it to Lost in Blue. I guess it didn't sell well. They're like, instead of calling Survival Kids, they just went with a different naming. So after that, there was like Lost in Blue 1, 2, and 3, and all those went on the DS and Wii. They rebranded the name when they went to the DS.
Yeah.
But the Lost in Blue is actually the third Survival Kids.
Oh, this Gradius looks good. This looks solid. There's not a whole lot going on background-wise, but this is a pretty good-looking Gradius. Gradius the Interstellar Assault. And I've seen... What is Kirby Star Stacker based off of? It looks like a Puyo clone, almost. It's a match 3, right? Or match 2?
I believe so.
I can't tell what's happening here. This is in the era... Yeah, it's a match 2 game, it looks like. This is in the era of shoehorning Kirby into everything, right? Kirby's Pinball.
Yep.
Kirby Star Stacker, Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Like, we got all these experiments as Kirby games.
I mean, what was it? We got 2 versions of what Puyo Pop, right? Because one was Mean Bean Machine, right? Like Puyo Pop would never sell in America, so Sega made theirs into Mean Bean Machine. And what was Nintendo's? Was like the Kirby's Woods or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Wario's Woods?
I think it is called Wario's Woods, but there's another Kirby one that had it on Super Nintendo that was also the Puyo Pop version. It was the same version of Puyo Pop. They just reskinned it.
And I think it's already on the Nintendo Switch Online.
I believe so.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Damn, how are we all drawing a blank on this one? Gotta kick this bot out of the chat.
It's a Kirby Avalanche. I can't remember what it was.
Is that the golf one? That sounds like the golf one.
That might have been the golf one.
Kirby Star Stacker came out in 1997. Definitely a late era Game Boy game, right? Then we would get a Pokemon, and
it would. That was right. It's Kirby. It's Kirby's Avalanche.
Kirby Avalanche.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is the golf one I'm thinking of? Long pause.
I'm just gonna type in Google Kirby Golf game. Richard is thinking of right into
Dream Course. Kirby's Dream Course.
He gave me Dream Course as well. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
It almost looks like Sonic 3D Blast.
Yes, it does.
Kirby's Avalanche, known in Europe as Kirby's Ghost Trap. It's a video game developed by Compile and HAL Laboratories. Yep, it is a Western release of the Japanese Super Puyo Puyo featuring characters from the Kirby series. That would come out the year the N64 did here in good old NTSC. These are still good games, though. Like, even all these Kirby side spin games are solid.
I was watching a video, I think, of Richard on this one where we were talking about games that came out in America but not in Japan. And then we were talking about this one. And I thought it was funny because they said Kirby was an ass in this whole game because it's like the tree's like, please don't step on my roots. And then he steps on the roots anyways. And then they get into that Puyo Pop battle. Yeah. It's like, damn. It's like, this is a game they're known that Kirby was an ass. I was like,
Wispy Woods?
Yeah. It's like, please don't step on my roots, and he did it anyways.
Wasn't Kirby marketed as like this angry fellow and then
yeah, that's what they were talking about. Yeah,
like that.
He was like perpetually angry all the time, eating people.
We got a different spin of Kirby.
Oh,
All right, 4 more Game Boy games. The collection grows. How are we, before we get those GameCube games, how are we with the Nintendo Switch Online? We good with offerings and rollout and pacing and content and emulation and everything?
It's been pretty steady, and you
Yeah,
know, there's
great.
some months that are like, ooh, and there's like that month. This month I thought was pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of classic gems in there. I think that are rare finds.
It seems like they have a good team working on the emulation. It's like Nintendo Europe Technology Group or something like that, right? And they've appeared to listen to feedback. Like that N64 one kind of had some issues to start with, and they've made improvements to that emulation. I think my main gripe, I'm pretty happy with everything, to be honest, and the way we do the cost is very cost efficient for all of us. I hope that doesn't change anytime soon. Have y'all seen anything about the Switch 2 maybe combining all these things into one platform? Because it's anytime I fire up the Switch, which is few and far between, I'm going to each one of these things and like updating it. Like I fire it up and then it tells me there's an update. Like I think I remember a platform.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something about part of the interface where it like puts all that into one tile.
That would be super convenient. And that alone is worth the price of upgrade to me, if that's all it does. Just like you guys folders and the tiles and stuff now. That setup sucks. I want something better.
But I mean, I don't understand what's so hard about making a fucking folder system, man. I don't get it. Fucking you do it in Windows and Mac every day. So
it was a cross media bar. The ultimate interface. I would love for all those to be in one house and then let me pick from there. Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Genesis. And it just recognized, all right, you're part of the family membership or the Nintendo Switch Online Plus. Here's the naughty N64 17 plus games. Here's what else is separated out into that? GameCube now? Or is GameCube just going to be Switch 2 for now?
GameCube's just going to be Switch 2.
Never
Switch
coming to Switch?
Nope.
Wow. So a lot of people are
that's their selling point.
That'll be an upgrade path.
Which obviously we know some GameCube games that run perfectly fine on the current Switch.
Yes, they do.
And then we got the game where Mario died on. So,
what is the first round of Switch Online GameCube games? I feel like we go over this.
4 or 5 game. It's F-Zero GX,
F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2.
Soul Calibur 2. I feel like there's one more.
They showed off, I think, another couple that weren't confirmed yet. Yeah, but all it is so far is Wind Waker.
It's just those 3. And then they said there was more throughout the summer, and I think they did like a short like list of stuff. I think Mario, the game I was telling you about, was Mario Sunshine was coming to it, and
hopefully, because we're supposed to get, I guess, after the release of the Switch 2, reportedly sometime another Nintendo Direct, and also Nintendo's supposed to be at what was it, Gamescom? I think it was. They're supposed to be coming back to actual like physical shows again.
The Keeleys are coming up too. We haven't heard much about the game. What was it? Summer Game Fest?
Summer Games Mess.
Summer Games Mess. Okay. From the new Giant Bomb. Game Chat.
So presumably, they'll wait once the hardware is released, and then they'll be like, look, here's all this right now, the radio silence. Now they wanna, after it comes out, be like, look, here's everything else that's coming. So
I mean, they got a good bit coming out, right? They said there's only, I think I saw somebody on social media said it's going to be 1.2 million just for Japan at launch. So, and I think it's way more than any other launch. I think they said
they've been building up the stock.
Yeah. So,
yeah, those are the only 3 confirmed. I feel like for some reason they showed off. Maybe I'm thinking about Game Boy Advance games, but somebody saw something.
Right. No, you're right. When they did the direct,
they had a little sizzle
at the very end,
thing
like
at the
coming
end where
soon.
They scrolled,
They didn't say the names, but you could look at the cover art.
Yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
So GameCube
Yeah.
confirmed.
Oh, here we go. I paused it. I got it. It's Mario
Beautiful.
Sunshine, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum. That's it. That's all they showed.
Yeah.
That's about
Yeah, it was one.
if you're a GameCube fan and you don't have access to these in any other way, that's about $700 in software, not including the GameCube you have to purchase. That's a very expensive lineup of games.
Might even be more.
Yeah, minimum.
Chibi Robo, and freaking Gale of Darkness will almost get you to 700 by themselves.
Yep. And I can leave my copy of Chibi Robo sealed.
There we
Not
go.
to be touched for another 20 years. Yep, there they are. The following GameCube titles have been confirmed to be coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
Did you watch the rest of Cowboy Bebop, Richard? You seen the whole thing?
It's been, what was that, beginning of the pandemic I was going through it?
Yeah. I don't want to, I'll say this part. I don't know how far you got in there, but there's a whole bit on there's an episode where they find a VHS tape and they have to go through like this whole museum just to find a fucking player. Remember, that's just one of my favorite episodes.
I
in there.
love that episode. I felt so not called out. What is like connected? Like I felt seen by this episode where because they have like a collector they have to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I need some VHS repair myself. I either need to self-teach and learn this, or I think it just needs a new belt. Did I tell y'all about this drama? The SVHS player I found? I found my holy grail VCR. It's an SVHS player, which there weren't many home movies released on this, but it takes advantage of S-Video, right? So you could record in better quality. So there's SVHS blank tapes, which are still readily available. Like you can order a pack on Amazon. But then some movies, like they said, the Godfather trilogy got remastered in a way that it takes advantage of that. But anyways, all this nonsense. But it's backwards compatible, right? So if I want to I've got those Nintendo tapes floating around. I wouldn't mind making copies of and upload those somehow. Like the Summer of Excitement, like the N64 is coming. Anyways, I bring this player home. It's like a $500-$600 VHS player that I found for $10, I think. When you pop a tape in, it immediately like ejects it back out. So I think it's a belt issue somewhere in there.
Okay.
It might be something super simple, but I've just got to have the time to break it out and totally get in there and see what the hell's going on with it. It immediately spits it back out. So, if you're watching the show,
it doesn't need it.
Tape repair. What's that?
I said at least it doesn't need it.
Oh, start grabbing that tape and just ripping it to shreds.
Yeah. You start hearing the grinding and the.
Yep.
Ooh.
I popped a burner in there first. I've learned this lesson, 30 years ago? I popped some cheap piece of shit in there first, and it spit it back out, so it didn't do anything. I think Casablanca is one of those. It's got a good VHS transfer. Yeah, there were some weird. There's widescreen tapes. Like there's some funky business they were doing right there as they tried to extend that VHS model and look for successors to what they were doing at the time.
DivX.
Yeah, DivX was an option. Jurassic Park. There's copies of Jurassic Park that I've read and I love that movie, so I might be thumbing around in those VHSs and see. What's wrong, Brent? Yep, there we go. Where do y'all see the soundboard? Is it the microphone thing down
at the bottom?
There? Okay,
Yeah.
if I click that, it's gonna fuck up the screen capture. I think the window capture.
Yeah, I think that's why you don't fuck with
that's
it.
That's why I have to stay out of the soundboard.
Yeah.
For the podcast listeners, Brant just queued up the old. What website was that? But it was the holy fucking shit. It's a dinosaur with a lizard. Like a lizard dog. Pops up on the screen. You're the man now, dog.
Yeah.
YTMND. Those are simpler times, weren't they? Innocent internet age. Funny jokes. I guess memes of the time.
They were all Flash based, and they all went away with the Flash. So.
Yeah.
Is that what killed it? Flash?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like the most virus-induced program or application you can use. So.
Super susceptible. Exploitations. All right, last but not least, we have Game Pass games. So am I going to run through this nonsense?
Our Megan Spur update.
There's a big one up there.
Yeah, I can. Richard's waited long enough. All these are coming to Game Pass, so available as of now. Monster Train 2. Coming soon. Creatures of Ava. Stalker 2, I guess, is coming to the standard now, which wasn't there before. Tales of Kenzura Zao, which was on PlayStation Plus last year and is now coming over to Game Pass this year.
That's supposed to be a really good. It's like a Metroidvania adventure, right?
Very much like a Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Clancy's Division 2, which I think it's returning, doesn't say. To a T, which is from the creator of Katamari.
I never heard of this one.
It's a new game. Yeah, it kind of just popped out of nowhere.
There's not even a description. You see that? It just says Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I think there's a demo on Steam, so you give it a try.
Oh, there it is. It's right underneath if I kept reading.
Yeah.
A charming and colorful adventure game from the creator of Katamari Damacy.
Yep. And Richard's waited long enough.
Here we go.
Metaphor Refantizo is now available for him to play with an included cost of the subscription.
I'm most excited by the accessibility that Game Pass offers because my favorite way to consume Game Pass content has turned into my ROG ally. So I'm very pleased with this inclusion, and
it runs well on there too.
Yep. I say being able to bounce around between console and portable, and I'm playing probably 95% portable right now. So it just fits how things are going at this moment. I like that. I like that inclusion.
Which is huge now because we've been getting a lot of big hit games, and this coming in summertime, it's pretty good because I think we're gonna have a slowdown of I think the Xbox Studio releases, right? I think everything they've had on the roadmap is out, so we're probably gonna see a lot of these big games that kind of skip Game Pass probably start coming in like this. So
it's probably good.
Perfect timing.
It's perfect timing. Slew of stuff has just come out. Doom and Clair Obscura and Oblivion Remastered, South of Midnight. They've been firing on all cylinders with Game Pass content, so be a good time to catch up on some stuff.
I mean, just in time for the June show, so
yeah.
Microsoft's really killing it right now.
Yep.
So also your spray paint simulator, available day one, Crypt Custodian. I guess let me read this one because I'm
Metroidvania.
Charming top down Metroidvania after clean up the afterlife plays Pluto, mischievous cat, who has died and is sentenced to be the Afterworld's janitor forever. That's pretty funny. Hang out the other Doom ghosts and battle beasts and explore a vast, expansive landscape.
That sounds good. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I'm interested. Symphonia. Oh, not Tales of Symphonia, but Symphonia.
Tales of Symphonia.
Waking as a mad musical realm in this non-violent, poetic platformer in Symphonia, you'll use the power of your violin coupled with the platforming skills to gather an orchestra to bring the musical machinery of the world back to life. So outside of that, I kind of glanced over some stuff, but I mean, spray paint simulator, yeah, I can imagine what that is. Richard's talked about to a T. Brant's mentioned Long Division, and we already know what Stalker and Creatures of Ava is. So 15 more games are coming to Xbox Cloud Gaming beta on May 23rd, and that includes Brutal Legend, Costume Quest 2, Day of the Tentacle Remaster, Full Throttle Remaster, Grim Fandango Remaster, Max the Curse of the Brotherhood, Neon Abyss, Quantum Break, Rare Replay, Extreme Ride, State of Decay Year 1, Steam World Dig 2, Sunset Overdrive, Super Lucky's Tale, and Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection. Looks like a lot of first party games.
I was under the assumption most of these games were already in that cloud gaming program. I kind of thought everything was in there at this point. I guess they're still introducing titles to it.
Yeah. Some of the stuff is weird because some of it, if you purchase, it was in there, and then some of this is not just part of the subscription, and it's a little money on some of this stuff. So
yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, there's a bunch of games in Rare Replay. That's pretty cool. That's cloud streaming.
Yeah. Your DLC updates is Sea of Thieves Season 16. I'm not going to go over what's in there. Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker. It looks like a free DLC or mini expansion is what they're saying on there. Then you have in-game benefits, which is Warzone Game Pass Pack 2, which includes some 2 operator skins, weapon blueprints, and so forth. Smite 2, you're getting some Summer Fun Medusa drop. I'm not going to read it because it looks crazy. Then your Game Pass Ultimate Perks, you got Throne of Liberty Commander and Firefly items, comes out May 22nd. You have a Division EMS outfit coming out May 29th.
Emergency Medical Services inspired outfit. Shirt, pants, hat, shoes, and glasses.
Awesome. And leaving May 31st, the second most important thing on here is you got Cassette Beast, Firework, Humanity, Remnant 2, Slayers X Terminal Aftermath Vengeance of the Slayer. Holy shit!
It has 2 subtitles.
What a name!
Is that not
Yeah.
Slayers 10?
I played the original Slayers on Dreamcast, and I think this is a pseudo sequel to it. So I don't know why they went with that.
What is this? I've never even heard of this.
I think they ported it over to Steam maybe a couple years ago when when the license reemerged, if I remember correctly.
Terminal
Nope,
Vengeance
I'm thinking of
the
another
Slayer.
game. Never mind, this is something else. There's another Slayers game. Excuse me. Yeah.
This looks crazy.
Yeah.
It is a follow-up to the 90s web simulation video game Hypnospace Outlaw.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Favorite indie game of 2023 according to Rock Paper Shotgun's Liam
It's
Richardson.
It's
a boomer
like
shooter.
It's like those 1990s website induced type stuff. I'm thinking of something else. There's another Slayers game that I'm getting mixed up with, but don't trust me. I'm tired. I haven't eaten anything, so
might have to spin this one
brain
up
is,
before it leaves. It looks good. It definitely looks like those boomer shooters have kind of had a renaissance here recently, right?
yeah.
Kind of like we had like 8-bit and 16-bit games inspired by for so long. This is the team that made Hypnospace Outlaw and Let's Build a Zoo.
Yeah, Hypnospace Outlaw, I can tell you, it's like he pulls up to like a pseudo Windows desktop, like Windows 95,
Mm-hmm.
and you go and click on it, and you go to like Newgrounds or like websites inspired by that, and it's just like you surfing the internet. That's pretty much what it is.
It's pretty cool.
And it's like you see random ass shit along there. It's like 1990s encapsulated 1995 internet-based web pages, like GeoCities and shit like that. That's what I meant to say, GeoCities. So,
GeoCities.
But I'll let Brant take us home with his cleverly punned news article here.
Oh, yes.
Are we real fans? Brant, have you determined if Cesar and I are fans?
I believe all of us are real fans.
We all are? You're including every one of us?
For all of everybody watching instead of listening, you can see right above me there's a fan right above me.
There is. Fan. I do not have a fan in my vicinity. Oh, I have a portable fan. I'm sorry. There is one here.
That works. It's a real fan.
It's a VR necessity for me. I got to have the fan blowing on me.
I think it is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No. Of course, we're talking about fan of video games. So this has to do with the current state of gaming and prices going up. There's a lot of talk with the industry. Of course, Nintendo's gone up to $80 for certain games. Microsoft is following suit where they say, certain titles of theirs will also be increased to $80. Even though if you look right now, everything within that upper echelon of top selling games at the moment is anything between about $50 to $30. Not a lot of the games are these big $70 titles at the moment.
Right.
But this article in particular, I just chose something as a quick reference over here. This is from Kotaku, John Walker. Refers to a tweet or, I guess a post on X from our favorite industry veteran.
Everyone's favorite.
Mr. Randy Pitchford.
Industry luminary. Fabled magician.
Where somebody was commenting on the fact that, the games are getting really expensive, and commented, I guess, to him or something like that about the potential of maybe Borderlands costing an $80. And his response, he actually had two. So,
did one disappear?
His initial, it's just two answers. Yeah. So his first answer was, that's not my call. But two, was the fact that if you were a real fan, you'll make it happen. And continued on with saying that in 1991, he was just out of high school and working a minimum wage job at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach. and he wanted Starfight on the Sega Genesis, which was $80, and he
Starfight.
made it, and he made it happen
Because he's a real fan.
because he's a real fan.
I'm a real
he's
fan.
He's implying that obviously, if you're a real fan, you'll pay whatever it takes. But unfortunately, we're in a position right now where things aren't like they were back then. The cost of everything has gone up. But also back then, 1991 through the mid 2000s, we had a lot more game demos. We had a lot more of these places out there offering game rentals, where you wouldn't have to shell out that full price for the game. You could just go and try it. Not to say those things don't exist now, but they exist on a much more limited field than they once did. And given the cost of everything else, constantly going up on the price of things like your entertainment, your video games, people are going to start to choose and say, maybe I don't need that game because it's $80. Maybe I'll just settle for this free-to-play option. Or maybe, hey, this game looks fun and it's only $30, $40.
Starfight game looks good, by the way. It's a RTS for the Genesis. I was looking at it.
I think it was the most. I looked at it as the most complete version, right? I think they came out previously on older hardware, like Amiga and all that.
Damn. So the Genesis was like the director's cut?
Like the complete version, yeah.
This actually looks good. It was an $80 game for sure. Yeah, it came out in 1986.
Honestly, a lot of these games that come out now have options that are like buy options or pre-order options that are above $80.
Yeah.
And how many times do we talk about all these games that have all these expensive options that offer maybe early access to play the game early, and then not only does the game come out early, but comes out on release day, and it needs patches. Even after patches, it still doesn't work. People that have early access to the game, either the game breaks and they can't play it, or their save data gets locked and they have to start over anyway. A lot of developers now are.
We can argue like what you're saying, Brandon, is 100% correct, right? I mean, he just seems like comments out of touch, right? It's out of touch to what everything is nowadays. It's basically, it's that early 90s mindscape of him buying that Starflight. That's all it is. I mean, it's not how.
And he put Starfight in that Genesis, and guess what? He turned on the console, and it worked immediately, and it was fine.
Not wrong.
Now you got to download the whole thing, and the game. Honestly, in some games, you may have to wait a couple months or a couple years for it to actually be truly playable.
I want to play this Starflight game. That's the biggest takeaway from any of this quote. The creator of Mass Effect said it had a huge influence on him. Wait till you see some gameplay, Brant. This thing's doing stuff.
Starflight on the Genesis.
Yeah.
Let's go play it.
And it's the complete one. It's the preferred one. It was on IBM, Amiga, Commodore 64. Looks like the Genesis is the place to play.
So what Richard's saying is take that $80 and buy you a copy of Starflight. Put it towards a copy of Starflight.
Hold on. Let's see how much a copy of Starflight on the Genesis runs now.
One of the game designers is Greg Johnson, also known for his work on Toe Jam and Earl. And Doki Doki Universe.
I'm looking at a Starflight Genesis 1991 EA complete in box, $54.99.
You'll save money.
Cartridge only, $17.99.
Tell Randy his investment from the early 90s is depreciated.
I'm laughing if Brant sees Randy's like, yeah, I'll spend $80 on that game if you tell me it doesn't need a patch after 6 months.
Right.
Oh, that game was good. Yeah, there's like was it Dragon Quest 3, that remaster they came out with? I supported that at launch, mainly because I got a buy two get one, right? So I got the Switch version, which I believe is the inferior version. Be interested to see if it gets some sort of bump on the Switch 2. But they just had a big update this past week. They added all sorts of quality of life improvements and things like that. And like, while that's good, like, I would have played this version that didn't have those. Well, if I put 80 hours into something and all of a sudden you had a fast track or, fast travel, which I think is one of the things they added. So it's a blessing and a curse, right? That this stuff keeps getting updated and they add new features and things. But you wouldn't think for live servicey game. Is Borderlands live servicey? Is that what he's pitching at? Pitchford?
I mean,
they have like
more than likely.
Yeah, they don't have battle pass.
But it's always with
it's
always with like a small. It's always PVE, right? I don't think it's PvP.
Right. It's just.
I think it's player versus environment.
Is one of those coming to Game Pass? We talked about this, right? Playing Borderlands. We should play that one for PS4.
I would not be surprised if it was coming to Game Pass right before the fourth one drops. I know they got to deal with Sony for the marketing, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was coming to PlayStation Plus services at some point. So
put that Handsome Jack collection on. Those are the highly revered ones, right? The early Borderlands.
Yeah, I think after 2 is when they kind of started losing their way. Yeah, because I think you had the prequel, which is, and then the third one, which a lot of people did not like. So
I have an extra copy of Tiny Tina's Wonderland or something like that. Whatever the little spin-off thing is. Yep. I have an extra copy of that for PS5. I saw it was like $8 or $10 and I got it, but I already had one. So I was trying to give it to my neighbor's son the other day because I know he has a PS5. And they were like, no, we played that on PS4. It wasn't that good, so we don't need a copy. They wouldn't take a free copy of it. They're like, no, we tried that on PS4. We didn't like it, so.
No, we're good. We're good over here.
Yeah, no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. All right, y'all want to get into games played and get out of here?
Yes.
Have we played any embarrassing Warzone since the last recording? Saturday?
Yep.
No wins? We're still getting our asses kicked in casual mode? I got bullied.
Close.
I got bullied into Warzone, and then I got bullied in Warzone by the bots and the opponents.
That shit was funny, man, because it's like Brand was the first one to mention. It's like, I'm calling it. He's not going to jump on. He's going to be like, I'm too tired.
It's fucking tired. And then I was exhausted.
Bweesh is like, that's more likely a Richard move than anything else. I believe that. So.
Oh, and I was on the stream with you guys, and I was like, fuck these motherfuckers. I better get on here. They're not going to let me ever forget this one.
Oh, God. I was laughing because Brand's like, I told you. I was like, as soon as that text came through.
I called it. He's going to bed.
Bleach is like, I don't know what's happening. What are we calling?
No, it's all good. Y'all needed a fourth so that we could continue losing at Warzone. Did y'all get a win before I got on there? I'm assuming not.
No.
Okay.
The closest we got was second.
We had a couple good second place finishes. I mean, I think Cesar said it at the end of that one second place. He's like, they just outplayed us. I'm not upset with that finish. Like, they had better, what was that, high ground they had on us or something? And they mowed us down coming up that mountain. They were all sitting up there in that one spot. If we'd had like an airstrike or something, that would be sweet.
Yeah, what I've learned is like usually the last 3 spots, those are people who are not casual players. So,
yep.
Like they're going in there for easy, like, because they play more of they're just going through sniping people and they're just toying with people, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, they tend to destroy us when we get to that last bit. We're doing work against the bots, and then we get against the people in the very end. And like Cesar said, they are not casual. Sometimes it feels like when we drop back to the non-casual mode, it's more competitive, right? Is that what it's driving us to? Come for the casual mode, get sent back to the regular one.
I don't know, man. That last season of Call of Duty was probably the best one before we went to Black Ops 6. I don't know.
God, it was so good. We were playing through the week. We would push back the podcast since we were all together just to play Warzone because we knew we were together. It's like, let's do this later. Let's play some Warzone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was peak time. And, some people would disagree with me. Some people was like, nope, that first season from Modern Warfare 2, that was the best. And, everybody has, like, their own moments of when that series has fallen off, so.
Yeah, because the way things are now, we can't go back to them. But it was like, that was when we had Vondel, right? We had the good water map, and there was one other water map, I think Ashika Island, Like that
Sheikah,
was
yeah.
peak when we were bouncing between Vondel, Sheikah Island, and the third one. That was top Warzone for me.
Yeah.
Give us that again. I'm all back in. I'm buying the battle pass and season pass and everything. Outside of some embarrassing Warzone, so that's where. How hard is it to get those Twitch streams like to YouTube? Is that something that any of us can pick up and do?
It shouldn't be too difficult. You literally just log into the NoFod account, and there's an go into settings and creator mode, and just say upload to YouTube, and have your YouTube account linked on
there. Because I want to start making sure that content gets captured, since we can't do restream or anything
days.
from there.
Yeah,
7 days, so we should be able to do that one. I might practice with that one because you did the first one. I keep forgetting about it, to be honest.
The only one we can do like the restream effect would be one of us signs up for the subscription service on the Xbox, where you can tag in YouTube, Twitch, X, or Twitter. Refuses to call that Twitter, TikTok. You can do all. It starts streams on all of them at once. It's not available on PlayStation.
How much is that subscription? That add-on for Xbox?
I think it was like $10 a month or something like that. I have to go look at it again because I thought about it. I was like, it might make our lives easier.
And our dues was $100 again. Like I thought that was an introductory offer for that new SoundCloud tier, but I mean our dues were low again this year. I think we're used to paying like $120 or $140.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's something to look at. I'm back in Oblivion. I played a good bit, probably 3 or 4 hours. I got in yesterday on the ROG Ally. I was wondering about this yesterday. I wanted to bring it up on the show with you guys. So these portable handhelds, right? They tier their graphic capabilities and frame rates and all that sort of stuff based off the power they're receiving, right? So on battery, it's going to try to stretch that battery out as long as possible, unless you can go in and manually change it, right? But that might mean, in Oblivion's case, as I found out when I unplugged it to do some vacuuming, about 30 minutes of battery life on it was gone and drained it. But I've also got that 80% like battery life setting turned on that, and it's on the Steam Deck now. I saw, but it's not. I haven't updated to turn that on yet. But do you think the Switch 2, like even the first Switch, got better performance out of docked mode? Are they gonna do? I think it's called TDP. Are they gonna do something like that with powering the Switch 2, where you get better draw from it portably, or is it portable just a flat standard I don't know, performance, display, whatever, resolution? Y'all know what I'm saying?
I think there's something in that dock, because that was what that Switch Pro rumors are going around, where it kind of
doing the lift.
Gives it a little bit more power
Okay.
to hit those target frame rates and resolutions. So I don't think it's. I think when you play it portably, and Brent can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's stock 1080p.
And it's just
maybe
doing a
1440p. I can't remember. I know the VR is only on the handheld because we discussed that last week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is an advantage.
The handheld is 1080. And VR upscales. And the dock upscales, I think, up to 4K.
Okay. Y'all know where you're gonna put your Switch 2? Is it gonna be like the main? I think I'm gonna put it on my main TV for the family to partake in and stuff.
Smart.
Yeah. Oh, also they plugged in a regular USB mouse and it just worked. So for some of those games where they're advertising the mouse mode, I forgot to mention that we're going over some news.
Yeah, that was
Civ
7. The Civ 7 developers kind of confirmed that.
Was it Civ 7 or was it Nobunaga? It might have been Nobunaga.
I don't think I saw a title attached to it. His ambition. His continuing ambition. It's like 40 years of ambition. Anyway,
he tried to unify Japan. That's all they were ever doing in the Far East. Was somebody was always trying to unify something over there, China or Japan.
It's just a unification effort in the name of death and wake of war in their path. But I was getting around to Oblivion. I play mostly plugged in, so that was the whole gist behind me thinking about what the Switch 2 is going to be like. If I want to play in that handheld mode and take advantage of the screen refresh rate, like what does that look like exactly? But I don't know if there's been an update for Oblivion. I haven't seen one, but I think it's... So when I told y'all it runs like dog shit after that last update, somehow all my settings got wiped out on Oblivion, and it was trying to run like high settings on everything. which was bringing the Rogue ally to its knees. So I was like, I was aggravated. I was like, I was just playing this, and it was like, it wasn't perfect, but it was portable Oblivion, right? Which I wanted to play. And I went in there and knocked everything back down to low and turned on VRR and stuff. And I was like, okay, we're back. It still dips here and there, but I'm getting consistent 60 frames per second, even outside.
They just downloaded a new driver update for the graphics card. I wonder if that just fucked your shit up.
I think it reset everything because I was like, what is happening? What happened to this? I also knocked it down from 1080p to 900p or whatever that like next setting down is, which I do with most games.
I think it's the Steam Deck resolution. I think it's 900. Yeah.
I was doing that with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that made everything run so much better. But I've done the second big leg of the quest. The Emperor was murdered in the very beginning of the game, and you have to go find his son, who does not know he's the Emperor's son. And then you have to take him back to... There's a guy, he's a priest, so actually they're both priests, and they're kind of hidden. The son is like a bastard son, and he was hidden. But the other priest is the head of the Blades, who are the protectors of the Emperor, and all the Blades failed in the first part of the game, and that's why the Emperor got assassinated. But this guy's hiding out in a church, basically. It's a priory, and he's the Grand Master of this Blades order, and he's just a priest, like he's chilling at this place. But you get him out on the road, like he joins your party. And he's got a katana sword, and he's like slaying bears and wolves and bandits and whatever else comes up next to you. It's just, it's pretty good. I'm getting distracted, as one does in these games. Like, people come to Elder Scrolls games. Cesar, you never really like dove into one, right?
I put a good bit of time in the fifth one.
In Skyrim?
I almost called it Skyfall, but yeah,
Skyfall.
Yeah.
The other Elder Scrolls. But people play for different things. Like, there's factions you can join. Like, I've never done the Dark Brotherhood or the Thieves Guild. I've never beaten a main story. Like, I have hundreds of hours in these games at this point. I've never beaten a campaign. But my favorite part of these is dungeons. Like, you'll just randomly wander upon a cave or something, and you end up going in these. And I think I talked about this last time I did a deep dive on Oblivion, but a big update Skyrim had over Oblivion is they tell you when the dungeon is clear. Like, you're in all these doorways and paths and multi-levels, and there's no telling how deep that cave or dungeon or whatever goes. It'll tell you. You get like a drum roll in Skyrim. It's like, boom, dungeon cleared. You do not get that in Oblivion. So you're either wandering around trying to figure out if you found whatever was in there, or you killed everybody, or you got the gem, or you found a chest, or whatever it is because they're all there for a reason, right? There's not many where there's just nothing in there. And it can get confusing. Have I found what I need to find in here? And some, like there was one, I couldn't find a switch. There's a switch somewhere to open a door. You'll go up to a door and it says, this has to be opened remotely. And I'm like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to get through here? And then you're wandering around looking for the switch, right? In this dungeon. And, I just gave up on that one. I wandered around in it several times and I couldn't find the switch. And I was like, it's not meant to be. I'm going to get out of here and continue the journey. But they're sprinkled in amongst, like, they know where the main campaign is going to take you, right? There's paths across the map. So I think it's real good game design that they've put these things in. They're in your way, essentially. Like, you can mainline the campaign, or you can get distracted by these sorts of things. I accidentally killed somebody, and then I got visited by this guy. Shows up in the next time you rest. This guy pops
three
in.
ghosts,
pretty much. But he pops in and invites you to join the Dark Brotherhood. It's like, we noticed you killing somebody, and you might be one of ours. I'm like, I don't even remember killing somebody. And then, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's me. I'm like, my bad. I didn't mean to kill anybody.
I didn't mean to, honestly. And then I'm on the path from, so you've got to take Martin to basically the Blades stronghold after you find the Grandmaster of the Blades. And as I was going along the path, there's Imperial soldiers that are on horses with torches. And it's like, I don't know, it's an Oblivion thing. It's not any of the other ones. And they're just like patrolling different roads in Cyrodiil. And I was like, well, I'll just talk to this guy, because I usually talk to the NPCs and stuff. And he starts galloping towards me when I got closer and arrested me. And I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what? And I guess I didn't have enough money to pay the bounty. So it was either resist arrest or go to jail. So Brant's laughing. He knows what's up. And I was like, well, what is it going to kick off if I kill this guy? Then my bounty's going to go up again. And I've got the two maybe he kills one of the two NPCs that I'm trying to get to this place. So I was like, I'll go to jail. I'll pay I can't pay the fine, so I'll just go to jail. And I ended up way back from where I was, and they take all my stuff, like all my shit is gone.
Yep.
You have to sleep to get your stuff back. So I went to sleep, and it kind of broke part of the story for me, and I was a little ill about it for a minute because the two guys following me had horses. And then when I got arrested, they were nowhere to be found. And I was like, man, these old Gamebryo games that I just totally fuck Oblivion at this point isn't going to be completely hosed. But I got out in the world and I had to run down to because they started me in some city that was nowhere close to where I was. And I had to find the road again. And then I started following the road. And then I found a horse right where I got arrested. One of the horses was there, nothing else. And then I stood there for a second. I was looking around like, are they going to show up? Like, where did they go? And I kept going down the road. And within like 5 minutes, they showed up. And Martin was on foot. I guess that was his horse. And maybe if I'd waited there, he would have come and mounted the horse again. But the other guy, the Grandmaster Joffrey, he was on his horse still. So it was just like, how is the game calculating these routes and what they do? Because you can also you can jump off cliffs and like mountains, and you can cut through areas that you can tell the NPCs are not programmed to traverse, and you'll lose them for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. And then they come sprinting like around the corner, like they're hauling ass to catch up to you. Or I'll forget they're there, and then I'm battling a wolf or something, and then he hits me with one of his spells because Martin's using a lot of magic. I'll get frozen from the back, and it's like, where the fuck did this come from? This is a wolf. This wolf casting ice on me now. But it's just, there's some jank to those that really add to the experience. I tried to film it. I need to figure out what the game bar thing is, because I'm playing it through Game Pass for PC, right? That's the build of Oblivion that I have on there. So it's not updated through Steam, or it's updated through Microsoft Store. And but I killed this goblin, and he slid down a slope. There was like this physics on slopes and stuff with Oblivion. And then he kicks up, and he's like spinning in midair. He just went through the ceiling, and I just followed
like
it.
that Skyrim video I sent.
Oh yeah. When Giant Bomb, there's one of the best Giant Bomb videos, Brant. I don't know if you've ever seen it. They get a hold of Skyrim when it first came out, and it was Ryan that passed away, and Jeff playing, and Brad and Vinny, and the troll hits them, and the character just flies up in the air, and they never stop. They just keep going, and they died laughing. But those are some of the Gamebryo hijinks. But that goblin, man, and I think it's because there were two goblins down at the bottom I had killed, and this one for some reason slid down the slope to where they were. So I think it was some sort of collision thing that Joker just started. And I wish I had a third-party camera, because my person's sitting there, and I know they just watched it. Watched the goblin go up like this. Oh, that was I think that was in the dungeon that I almost gave up on. But it's just, man, it's a time sink, and I'll look down at it, and it's been like 2 hours, and I've just been wandering around. I've made no progress in the story, just going through dungeons and stuff. So right now, Martin is at he's at the Blades retreat, he's at this fortress. And then I've been sent to meet one of the Blades that I was with at the beginning at the Imperial City, and he'll know more about where to go. There's a artifact that Martin is going to need to be proclaimed the next emperor, and the artifact was stolen. So I'm on the road to go find out from the Blades what that next step is. There's a lot of cool Elder Scrolls lore sprinkled in here. They call Martin the Dragonborn because all the emperors and the Elder Scrolls are Dragonborn. So there's a lot of cool. There's a Nordish salesperson in, what was the name of that town? Brune or something like that. And they had that same Nord accent from basically all the characters in Skyrim. And I was like, oh, you guys are from that region. I could tell that personality. And then, of course, the next game was centered around those people and that part of Cyrodiil. Is that Cyrodiil the whole thing? Brant, you might have to question my Elder Scrolls lore. You got Morrowind. They're all named after the districts. So you got Daggerfall, Morrowind, Skyrim. Oblivion is not one of the regions, but it takes place in the Imperial part of Cyrodiil. That might, it might all. Tamriel. Cyrodiil is the city part. Tamriel is the whole world of whatever that is, with all the different islands.
Well done, you got there.
I did. I had to stumble through it. But it's awesome. get the right settings on handheld, and it's a lot of fun. I downloaded it on my Series X, and I haven't fired it up on there, so I don't really have a good comparison there. But I know when they did the upscaling for like the Skyrim anniversary, I think that was one of my first PS4 Pro games. Was that Skyrim Special Edition, is what they call it, not anniversary. But they do a good job. The joke is they keep selling Skyrim over and over, right? But they do a good job of bringing those forward. So if they do that with this game and keep updating it and all that sort of stuff, I'm pretty happy. This is an awesome game. But that's it for me. That's all I messed around with. Some Warzone with you guys and Oblivion Remastered on the ROG Ally.
Let's see, I got nothing to add on the Warzone front. I guess it's still enjoyable. We always kick around playing something else, and we never actually do.
And we just play Warzone.
Like I've always said, that I joke and say we do.
It'll happen at some point. We'll eventually do it, right? Eventually.
One day, yeah, right. Outside of that, I think I've mentioned before in this podcast that I've been playing South of Midnight, and I've been putting more time into that game. It's been hitting regularly for me because, I mean, basically you start out as a young girl named Hazel, who her mother is a social worker, and so there's a big hurricane happening outside, and this all takes place in, I'm assuming around New Orleans. It's in the bayou around there, based off the accents and everything. And so Hazel's packing up her stuff because they live on a house that's on the water, and her mom comes home, and that's, like I said, she's late from work as a social worker, so she spends most of her time trying to save kids. And so basically it starts out this chapter where Hazel kind of runs around and checks on the neighbors, and it kind of gives you an opening of the world and the mechanics and how it plays and how it looks. Because like graphically the game looks pretty good. It looks like a mixture when it does the cinematic parts. It looks like a stop motion, kind of like a Wallace and Gromit. Has that feel on there, which complements it pretty well. After a bit, the river carries her house downstream with her mom still in there. And so Hazel, who is a track star who just recently graduated high school and is moving into college, races down the river bend to try to catch her house to save her mom. Eventually loses sight of her and kind of crashes on the outskirts of town as the hurricane brings everything in town down. So she goes to her grandmother's house at the top of the hill. Grandmother's name is Bunny, and that's from her paternal grandmother. Her dad had died at the age of when she was 4 years old, so she never really knew her dad very well. And her mom doesn't like her grandmother, so they don't really hang up often. So she ends up going over to Bunny, her grandmother's house, and tells her that, you know, the house that her mom was on was going down river, and she needs to save her mom. And Bunny kind of like sequesters her into her room, says, "We'll worry about it in the morning. Don't worry about it." And she kind of goes into this back hidden bookcase where it leads to like this room where she starts seeing the stuff about weavers and looms and different weapons and about these type of people that exist in this world. And there hasn't been a weaver for a long time apparently, so it's been a while. So she can hear the voices, like they'll like when you kind of like press the R3 stick, it kind of calls you to go forward to where it goes on there. It'll say, "Hey," so like, and it kind of just points to where you go.
Kind of like investigation mode in Tomb Raider or Batman or something.
No, it just points you where to go. That's it. Like if you're lost, it's like a compass. So outside of that, she picks up a spindle, and then she learns more. She has like these hooks where she can kind of weave stuff on there. And she fights these fanatical monsters called like Aints or Haints, if I remember correctly. And those are kind of like sequestered into like these little cylinder, like circle area where you do these battles, where you got to unravel these knots. And it's like all based off like sewing mechanics from the late 1800s probably. And so she's seeing like these like this kind of silhouette of like weavers. It's like she can see stuff, and it's kind of like teaching her what to do. Like it shows her how to wall run and stuff like that, because there's nobody in the modern day that is a weaver to show her anything. So she's seen stuff from the past, and it looks like somebody. What it looks like something from like the Underground Railroad. Somebody's trying to lead a group of slaves out of the area, and it's like, all right, this is the way, and that person happens to be a weaver. And so like she's seeing these like recreations on there and learns like her powers that way. And so that's kind of like the beginning of the game, right? That's like the first couple of chapters as it kind of gets your bearings down to how this game plays. And so the whole point of the story, she's looking for her mom that floated downstream. So the next, then the next part is, I guess the next part of the game that starts up is like the third chapter is when you meet this giant catfish. You start seeing these fanatical monsters, not monsters or beings
awesome.
out there. So this catfish is being captured by a person that turned into a tree that's holding the catfish, and he's like, all right, you got to get me down from here. You got to basically unleash his knot or his pain. And then you go through this whole backstory. So you run into this character on there. I think it's like Radu, who is the only person left in that town, and you have to get a bottle from a tree. So basically, you have to pain in a bottle. You have to take all these bad emotions for this one area that happens to deal with this main boss character, and use it to unleash them from it. So you find out the backstory, and this is when you go into vignettes. So like you find out that this character, him and his brother, moved over here. His brother may have not been considered. I mean, I'm trying to find the word. He might have been a little bit disabled. He's not all, considered a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's kind of picked on, and his brother kind of picked up, he kind of stuck up for him. And so you go into this whole thing where they're like, all right, at some point he doesn't want to take care of him anymore. So basically he tells his brother, all right, we're going to play hide and seek. Tells him to go hide in a tree, and then he boards him up in that tree, and his brother dies in that tree. And so somehow that his brother becomes this giant tree. So basically you have to go in there and heal the pain. He does that, then it lets go of the catfish. So the catfish is taking Hazel down the river. They're like, all right, your mom's house is probably going to flow down the river, so let's go down there. And then you run into Two-Toe Tom, which is a giant alligator, which has like a fucking island on its back. And so this other vignette, you go into a preacher, Jolene, who I guess her father had owned a bar and she was a singer for it. She wanted to break clean of it because her father was like, oh, you're my child, and you got to listen to what I say, because her mother passed, and he had like this albino alligator that he was raising that he used a bell to, like, I call it a feeding bell. And so he was like starving the alligator on purpose to like scare Jolene to come back. And Jolene ended up becoming a preacher. So she's a preacher in this world now. And so you have to fight Two-Toe Tom. And so the whole thing is you have to do the same thing. You have to take the bottle, feel the pain, and you see like these other vignettes where Jolene's arguing with her father. The father comes back around. You need to come back home. And then one day Jolene goes behind the tree, rings a dinner bell because Two-Toe Tom's been starved, and he ends up eating her father and ends up killing her father. And
Damn.
like these are the type of stories you're getting in there. And so now he's coming to this thing where he's free now. She let Two-Toe Tom free afterwards, and now he's just eating everything in sight, and he's become this giant alligator or crocodile, whichever. And so you have to fight him, and that was probably the hardest boss battle I had on there, because that was a lot of imagine trying to get away from a alligator, but like he's afraid of a church bell, which happens to do with Jolene. So like you would hit the church bell and it would fall over, and you tack the knot in its mouth, and then you get swallowed by it. The music in there is very well done too. A lot of the music in there is like there's people singing like folksy songs on there based off the story you're encountering, and it's very very southern based. Like some people it would be like southern type music. That's what you would think of. So that apparently Two-Toe Tom ate Hazel's house and spits it back up when she goes inside the stomach and forces him to spit it up. And she didn't find her mom, but she found all this red yarn, which happens to do with what they call a hugging Molly, which is a old, I guess, wives' tale over there in Louisiana where children would disappear. They said it was hugging Molly. She always took children that went through hard times or hardship or something like that.
That's fucking frightening.
So the catfish is like, well, the best person who knows about hugging Molly is Bunny, like her grandmother. And it's like, really? She's like, yeah, apparently her dad, Trey, was taken by hugging Molly, and her grandmother was able to get him back. And so now you go down to this vacation home down there, and you're trying to investigate on how to find hugging Molly so she can find her mom, because they're thinking that hugging Molly took her mom to bring her out, because hugging Molly does not like weavers because they get in their way. And so she ends up running to her grandmother, Bunny, and Bunny kind of alludes that she's also a weaver, but I don't really believe it, because it seems like she's not a very good person. She's like, yeah, I've been looking for hugging Molly for a long time. I was able to rescue Trey on there. And like, you had to go through like another vignette before you can get in there and talk to Bunny about what happened in that household. So apparently when Trey was growing up, her dad, she had a sister. I want to say, I forgot what the name of the sister is, but it doesn't matter. Younger sister, which Bunny was her favorite. So every time anything happened to the younger sister, her dad Trey would get punished for it. Like, oh, he got dirty. Like, how did you let your sister get dirty? Blah 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 blah. And you know, it all rolled up to the thing where he freaked out because he didn't want to get punished. So his sister got dirty, and he tried to wash her in the creek, and she ended up drowning.
Oh God!
And so that's why she never knew her dad had a sister, because she died as an infant. She wasn't trying to kill the baby; she was trying to clean it up before her mom saw it. So like these vignettes are pretty good. A lot of them are very interesting and a lot of deep pain in there. So I'm at this point
I love
now
that in stories.
Now I'm at this point now where I finally talked to the grandmother. I got to change of clothes, and I'm going on to the next bit where I can find a way to locate Hug and Molly. So, and that's about halfway through the game. I think it's 13 chapters. I'm on chapter 7. So,
what are you playing this on? I might have missed that in the beginning.
I played on the Series X console. I played on PC, and then I played on the handheld in bed. So it just all depends on the situation. My saves just go over because it's an Xbox Anywhere game. So it looks and plays best on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like and Richard probably would enjoy this. It does look more like a PS2 game on the handheld. So.
Okay.
And there's some bits on there which Brand would enjoy, like when you fill up all the paint in the bottle, you have to run away from this dark shadow coming on there, and it's straight Crash Bandicoot. And you're just running, hauling ass before you go on there as much as you can, but it's
that's
forward
awesome.
This way. And you got to do wall running and jumping and floating down, and then you have shit that's like thorns that are coming at you. It's a pretty good game. I'm enjoying my time with it. So like I said, I haven't even tried to it's just something I pick up and play every so often. I'm already about halfway through, so I'm pretty much going to finish it out. But that's it. South of the Midnight. That's all I've been playing the last couple of days. So I'll kick it over to Brand to finish up.
Aside from a little bit of Warzone, I haven't really done much. I did play some of that the Bleach game that Cesar was talking about, Rebirth of Soul.
Oh yeah.
I played through that first little bit of the story where Ichigo becomes a Soul Reaper, fights a bunch of hollows, and then
the whole funny bit with Rukia, what are you doing in school?
Yeah. And then eventually Soul Society comes looking for Rukia and takes her back. So that's about to the point where I got. That's
where I lost interest in the show. I like the whole Hollows thing on Earth. That was my shit.
Oh, the ghost detective story. I mean, just watching Yu Hakusho show.
I was like, this is we could tell unlimited stories in this, and then they went to Soul Society. I'm like, this kind of sucks.
I think Yu Hakusho did it a little bit longer. Yeah.
They do the same type stuff. I love the whole detective part.
Yu Hakusho was like that until the Dark Tournament. Yeah. Then after that, it kind of.
Yeah, I was about to say after. Weird. I say Dark Tournament is still decent.
Mm-hmm.
After Dark Tournament, it starts getting a little
convoluted.
Weird. A little, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of how this feels. I'm used to a lot of those like arena-based fighters that what is it, Cryware or something like that makes.
CyberConnect and all that.
CyberConnect.
Yeah.
The anime experts.
It's very rock paper scissors, right? It's
there's
a
weird
sometimes.
Yeah, there's a weird rock paper scissors element, or kind of like Street Fighter where certain strong attacks defeat this kind of attack, and I'll get to a point where you get the enemy has like a number above a health bar, and basically if you down that health bar, that number above there is like the number of health bars they have. But if you meet like a certain condition or do enough damage to their soul, it like say it's a 5. So you could eventually, like if you do the right thing or meet the right condition, it'll take it from a 5 down to like a 2 or a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll immediately do a lot more damage. But I'm I'm not I'm not a super fan of the movement because by default your character's just like walking really slow around, and you can basically use X to do like a quick dash either from side to side or forward or back. I just rather prefer like a being able to run around freely in these type of games. And it's, I don't know, it's okay, and once you get the feel of it, it's fine. But to me, it, because of that like rock paper scissors element and some of the other little mechanics they got going, it kind of breaks the flow up. And like Cesar said, there's a couple. There's one thing I did a couple times, and I swear, like like the guard mechanic or something, you already have to be standing still and intentionally guard, because if you're in the middle of doing a combo and then press guard, because the enemy, you see them about to wind up and do something, it's probably not going to block it.
Damn.
You already have to be standing still and not be in the middle of something and press guard to block it, or else you're just going to get completely demolished. And there was at least one battle in particular where I kept getting like just beat up like crazy. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I know I'm pressing this and this, and I noticed that where I'm like, oh, it's not guarding for some reason. That's great. You have to be super intentional. But like, I go back to, I think this covers the same time frame that the Rebirth of Soul does, but I always go back to Soul Resurrection on PS3.
Is that a good one?
As like the, oh yeah,
that's when that's when Sony was publishing them internally. They just got bounced around in the US.
Yeah,
it's actually a Sony game in Japan.
Is it really?
Nice America.
Well, yeah, look in the back. It's the Soul series are all Sony. It was actually first party games, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
They just licensed it from Nisa. Licensed it from them in Japan.
I don't know if I have that.
Yep.
While we're on the
to
cyber,
me, this was
go ahead, Brian.
Pretty good. No, I'm just saying that to me was like more of a like the feel and style I like. It's a great game.
While we're on the anime based fighters train, I ordered my child. We've been going through Demon Slayer, and I ordered that one for PS4. Is that one a decent?
It's an arena battler. It's also made by Cyber Connect.
The Hinokami Chronicles is the one that I ordered. It seems like maybe if there's like an easy mode, we can just kind of have fun with.
It's gonna be one of those.
It follows the story pretty well.
Does it really?
It's like she'll enjoy it.
Okay,
they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with the TV show, so I'm like, this might be a good intro. And I know it's not a they don't make garbage games. They're kind of known for this niche, but they put out pretty good stuff.
The one thing I guess is maybe they wanted to do something different, because the one thing with those Cyber Connect and everything is they are very samey. If you played one, you'll play the others.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like they take that same engine and just swap the characters out.
Because they started like Naruto games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Brand, just to let you know, this is why you like that Bleach Soul Resurrection so much. It was developed by Japan Studio.
Holy shit.
I just looked it up real quick. Yeah.
R.I.P. Japan Studio.
Wow.
Puppeteer, Knack, Bleach, Legends of Dragoon.
So many good titles.
What can't they do?
Yeah. Knack.
Knack 2 in particular.
There was a picture yesterday for the was it the Dodgers? His last name was Knack, and almost took a shot of it and sent it to you guys. Knack's back, baby.
Knack on the back.
Knack the third.
Knack the third. Knack's back, baby. Yeah, I don't have this Bleach game for PS3. It looks really good.
It is. It's a very good, and I highly recommend. And to my recollection, it's been several years, but it did a good job of like going over the story.
Not too expensive, $35-$40.
No, it's not that bad. Other than that, I think that's it. I do I'm on some one of those tears. I'm on some weird bullshit. So be on the lookout by next week. Maybe we'll see if something gets here, and I'll have a random wild card games played.
Cool.
Something you probably won't expect.
Something for the disc system, I hope.
No,
it's a
completely
Teleview.
Different.
It's a Teleview.
Is it both copies of Time Twist on the disc system?
No.
Yeah, that's just like $800, man. I think when I looked at last time.
Golly.
Tune in next week to see what Brant has spent his fortune on.
Yep. I mean, and then after that, I mean, shoot, it'll be all Switch too, because we're 10 days.
Switch too heavy.
We're like 10 days out now.
Getting close. Switch 2 covered.
Now I'm stuck on
here
Time
before
Twist.
we know it.
I'm stuck on Time Twist right now. I'm looking at it.
Time Twist.
Brand, you got to have it.
Buy both copies.
Famicom system. Do you really?
How much?
I'm not looking. I'm just. Well, I can look in a second, but I'm looking at the. This is why this game will never be released over here. Look at this. Each point of the time and focuses on major historical figures. The characters not playable though play an important role in the story. The main characters consist of Joan of Arc, medieval France; Adolf Hitler, southern Germany; Alexander the Great and Aristotle, Athens, Greece; Abraham Lincoln, Alabama, United States; and last but not least,
Alabama.
Jesus Christ, Nazareth and Bethlehem.
I'm about to say the
Choose
very
your
first
fighter.
screenshot. The very first screenshot is somebody crucified.
Oh shit!
Okay.
What's this called?
Time Twist. It was a Nintendo game made on Famicom system.
It's
made by
the very
Nintendo.
first thing is somebody. And we all know how Nintendo was with any sort of religious imagery.
There's two
back in
discs.
the day.
There's 2 discs, so there's a part 2. You have to actually have both of them.
Both of them together is $200. $220 ship, Brant. You can have both.
Like that. Do it, Brant.
Stream Time Twist. Damn, it's got like claws or something on that box art. That's wicked looking. Brant's gonna fuck around. He's gonna fuck around and order one of these where somebody has written Time Twist to the B side of the Famicom disc.
So, one of those rewritable discs. But if I remember correctly, I think the whole game starts off like Big, where like the main character goes and sees like a fortune teller, and it tells like, you'll find your soulmate in this museum, and then it's like he ends up being this girl that I guess is going to be a soulmate, and then she gets sucked into this time portal, and that's why he has to go through all these different aspects of time to like try to get her out of it. It's just like all the characters you interact with, like Hitler and Jesus Christ, were like, yeah, this is not going to fly anywhere but in Japan probably, but.
It's crazy.
Dropping back to CyberConnect 2, they were the original Final Fantasy VII Remake developers. I forgot about that. And then it went in-house again.
Yep. So, Brant, we need to live vicariously through you. You buy Time Twist, made by Nintendo R&D 4.
Brant, stream the Jesus game. You have access to the original hardware. It's your responsibility.
Oh, God. Yeah. I'm looking at it now. So disc 1 is Tokyo, Japan, and Castletown in medieval France, and in a World War II POW camp in southern Germany. Disc 2 is in Athens, ancient Greece, Atlanta, Georgia, a cotton plantation, Nazareth and Bethlehem, and then you're back into Tokyo, Japan. And apparently the final boss is the devil.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
This is all over the place.
Sorry, Brant. You were supposed to discover this organically. You've already named a devil in there.
Say something so controversial yet so brave.
All right, gents. Is that it for us?
Yeah.
Off to Memorial Day plans. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.